Hello, mateys. This is your host, BB Flower, author of several sci-fi romantic books with a solid dose of metaphysical, mythology, and supernatural phenomena. Go ahead and check them out. They're all available on Amazon.com exclusively, and they're free to read with Amazon Kindle Unlimited subscription. All right, for today's podcast, the topic is free will or reflection. Now, I'm going to start with something that Yuji had said. He had said, there is such a thing as free will. Actually, there is no free will at all. The most important thing for us to realize is that thought is a very destructive weapon, and that thought is our enemy. By Yuji Krishnamurti. Now, of course, this was excerpt from some discussion that he had with someone, but I'm trying to just say that Yuji Krishnamurti pointed out that there is no such thing as free will. And I mean free will in the sense that we understand. And now I'm going to read something, or JK had said something along those lines, which is, if there is a free will, it is free only in a relative sense, and it is not absolute freedom. So that's what JK had said, which is Jiddu Krishnamurti, in case you're wondering. And by the way, it is defined as, the free will is defined as the power of acting without the constraint of necessity or fate, the ability to act at one's own discretion. Now, the standard definition that I just read is what Yuji and JK are refuting, actually. And because, the standard definition is misguiding. If we truly had that kind of free will, won't we exercise it then? Come on. My husband and I were discussing this free will once, just like that. Every night we go to bed and we take this topic and we start discussing, and I had started making an informal podcast also in Hindi about that, which I will again. He's actually traveling back to US right now. We were on a vacation in India. I got back a week ago and he's coming in now. So this one day we were just, discussing about free will, and he said that the only free will we have is to look back at our experiences, and it is still in the realm of thought. And thought has got nothing to do with fate or destiny. And even Yuji Krishnamurti, whatever I just read, Yuji Krishnamurti said the same thing. Thought is actually our enemy. And if you check out my astrology podcast and also the podcast that's It Has All Happened, you'll perhaps understand this better, the whole fate, destiny, and free will thing. So how do I explain this free will in simple terms? I don't even know how to explain that, because Yuji used to refute his own words oftentimes. Because he had also said, man is the molder of his own future and architect of his own destiny. And when I just read his excerpt from one of his discussions with someone, he is actually saying thought is the enemy, and destiny and everything has got nothing to do with anything, and there is no free will. So here's the thing. Let's say there is a predestined end for all of us, okay? And let's say you worked hard to change a current situation you're in, meaning let's say you're poor, and you work hard, you studied hard, or did something to change your financial situation, and then you became rich, moving in a different circle in life now. How do you know that that was not your destiny? You can't, because you can't see the future. Let's take another example. You were about to go out, let's say, like a normal outing, I don't know, just to get groceries or whatever, or to work, but then some event took place stopping you from your plans. So let's say you were about to step out of the house at 9:05 and something stopped you from leaving your house at 9:05. And then you see the news where it implies that if you would have followed through your plan, you would have died because some accident took place and you could have died in that accident. Now you think you changed your destiny, right? You would think that. Or that you were, you were destined to not die at that time, You could see it either way, because there is no way to tell the future. You can either say that you changed the destiny, or you could say that your destiny was to live, and that's why somebody stopped you from stepping out. Even if someone predicts it for you, your destiny or your future, you have to reflect back to corroborate it once you have lived through it. Otherwise, it is what happened, nothing else, no big deal. Now, sometimes you work hard to resist a change that is coming your way. Say you were laid off from work and you somehow worked hard to stay back in that company. Okay, you tried against all odds and somehow you got another position within the company and you were absorbed in the company again. Now, let's say years after, let's say you got laid off again. Now, the only thing you can do is to look back and analyze, trying to make sense of what happened, because this example that I'm giving has actually happened with someone. And so all you can do is reflect back, and you could say that you were destined to be laid off at the time, but you worked against the destiny and destiny won anyway. So, there was a friend of my friend. He was like a skilled worker from India on a work visa, and he got laid off, during those 2000 time, the 2000 year. Technically, such people are supposed to go back within a given period of time, if they are on a work visa, so that they don't become illegal immigrants. Now, this guy tried by going out of his way to secure another job from another company and transfer the visa processing from his original company to the new company. So he somehow managed it and managed to stay back in the US and keep working. And at the time, everyone was like, oh, it was not his time to go back to his country. And so he could stay, somehow things happened. It all fell in place. But I found out a few years back that he was forced to leave years ago due to some green card processing issue. There was some issue with his green card processing. So he had to leave the country anyway. Now, I could say he was meant to leave when he was laid off the first time. But in both cases, we are just reflecting on what transpired and trying to analyze and make sense. There is nothing more we can do. And as per me, if you flow with the event, it is destiny pointing you in the direction that was predetermined. If it is not destiny, you will face a lot of hurdles. And eventually, it'll not be an ideal situation. You will have to balance this new gain that you have come about against destiny by losing something from your life. That is what I have seen by exercising my free will. And I did that with others' life. I have done that with my life. And I have seen people fighting with the world to conquer love or keep a job or, keep a relationship. But if the path of your life began to fork, it will never meet the original one again, no matter what you do. It is another parallel timeline that has been spawned by you, by your choices. And in my series, All Call None, which is published on Amazon, one of the characters was always at odds with his destiny. He had the power to view the future, and so he tries to exercise that ability and change the immediate events so that he could spend more time with the woman he loved. He even time traveled to disrupt other parallel timelines. But in the end, it didn't work. What I tried to show with this was that destiny is random, but all the same, meaning the end remains the same. You should check out my Destiny podcast. And in that, I have mentioned that we can make our journey a little better or worse with our choices, but we are all going towards what has been predetermined. And it is only because I have theorized that we are inside an explosion. And this explosion has already come about in the bigger picture. So what more can you do other than dodge the flying debris? We are still going to die. Again, there are two ways to look at it. You can go to the motivational speakers or you can go to LinkedIn and keep running or run harder just so you can make it more comfortable for you, or buy luxuries that this world has to offer. But as I said, it will be balanced by the absence of something else. Something else will be taken away, because no one's life is perfect. It is all energy, and energy has a way to balance itself out. It is Newton's first law of motion. that an object in motion tends to stay in motion unless an external force acts upon it. Similarly, if the object is at rest, it will remain at rest unless an unbalanced force acts upon it. Universe is balanced. So stop resisting any change. Take clues from the universe. And if you want, you can exercise your free will and reflect on your experiences or others. This is author PB Flower signing off. Until next time. Bye-bye.